Carolina Weather Watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Monday. I am your meteorologist, Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for our Monday evening going into our future. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Monday. What are we going to be talking about tonight? What are we going to be talking about tonight? We will be talking about obviously the heat wave that continues as we go into Thursday. Heat index values from 105 all the way to that 115 degree mark. We're going to be talking about Friday and Saturday as it will bring widespread rain and storms as a cold front slowly goes into the regions. And we do actually have an increased flash flood risk. And then we'll talk about some relief as well, obviously, with the cold front. And after that, that's pretty much it. And then obviously we'll talk about the weather tonight. But other than that, that's all we're going to talk about for tonight. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go and do so. Hit the share button as well. Share it with all of the people that you know. We are trying to get to 600 subscribers. We're at 548. 548. So let's go on and get there. So starting off, what is going on throughout the region of South Carolina? As you can see, we do have some rainfall going on up here all the way in Chapin going into Swansea. I apologize if I said that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. St. Matthews going on over towards Orangeburg as well, and then we also do have some rainfall with some thunderstorm activity going on over near Harleyville and going over towards Holly Hill. Goes all the way down towards Ridgeville, down towards Adams Run, South Carolina, going on all the way down here, even into like the western part of Beaufort, going into Ridgeland as well, going even into Hardyville, South Carolina as well. Now, is this producing any sort of thunderstorm activity right now? We do have some thunderstorm activity right now that goes on down here to where we're just talking about Seabrook going into Beaufort. Thunderstorms is definitely occurring there. Also over here near Ridgeville, Harleyville, and Holly Hill, we do have some thunderstorms over there. And then over here, it's a 5 to around a 20% chance over here near Orangeburg, Eastover, Gadsden. So, but the main ones that we know for sure are receiving thunderstorms is over here in like northern Dorchester County, going on over here towards Beaufort. Let's talk about what's going on throughout the entire U.S. We do have some rainfall right now going on over here in Kentucky as well as Ohio, West Virginia going into Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, and even Pennsylvania as well. We also do have some rainfall going on in Michigan as well as Minnesota, South Dakota, going into Montana. Rainfall going on all the way down here in the Four Corners region, also going on in Oregon, California, and Nevada. Cloud cover. We do have some cloud cover going on right now. Obviously, that goes on with that thunderstorm that we were just talking about in the Dorchester County region, also going on over there towards Beaufort and also near like Hardyville. And then also that cloud cover up there near Columbia, going even towards like Rock Hill, for example. Cloud cover also going on in that northwestern portion of South Carolina as well, in that western upstate. Going into our cloud cover for the future, you can see that as we go and push this cloud cover forward, you can see that that cloud cover will mostly intensify and really just start to cover up a lot of the state. This is going into tonight. Now, this is tomorrow morning right here, 7 o'clock in the morning. We're not going to see a whole lot of rainfall, but we will have some cloud cover that obviously is taking over the state. Now, if we continue all the way even into like tomorrow afternoon, going into tomorrow evening, cloud cover will still be occurring throughout a lot of regions. That goes all the way from the coastal regions up into the Midlands, up into the Petey region, and even into the upstate. You will have cloud cover going on up there. So we're going to have a cloudy next 18 hours or so. Now, again, these are just percentages, so it's pretty much the percent chance of you having some cloud cover throughout these regions. For the most part, most of us at 100%. But the more inside the white you get, the less chance you have, and the more in the blue you are, the higher chance you have. Going into our current temperatures, 88 in Columbia as well as 85 in Orangeburg, 87 in Somerville as well as 84 in Sumter, 85 in Florence as well as Conway, 84 in Burroughs Inlet and Myrtle Beach, also in North Myrtle Beach, 85 or 84 inside of Murrells Inlet as well as 86 up there in Union, 86 also up there near Spartanburg, and even 86 over here near Greenville 88 in Clemson, as well as even 88 in Anderson. Now moving on down here, you have like 87 in Somerville, even 85 in Charleston, and 88 in Beaufort. Low temperatures for tonight: 75 in Greenville going into Spartanburg, 75 in Rock Hill going into Winnsboro, and even 77 in Columbia, 77 in Sumter and Orangeburg, as well as 76 in Walterboro, 80 in Charleston, as well as 81 in Hilton Head Island, 76 in Georgetown, and 78 in Myrtle Beach, 76 also there near Burnwell. For your precipitation, look at this. 8 p.m. tonight, going all the way into 8 p.m. tomorrow night, 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch. That goes all the way from Greenville, going on all the way towards Greenwood, to Lawrence, to even some other places like Myrtle Beach, going into Charleston, and even Hilton Head Island as well. 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch going into Moncks Corner, and even Aiken. Camden's included, Winnsboro is included as well, quarter of an inch to a half an inch. That goes from like Columbia to Florence to even Georgetown to Walterboro, and then maybe even a half an inch to an inch for like Sumter going into Anderson. Now, there will be some regions that could potentially get an inch and a half all the way to 2 inches. That is possible. That is possible as we move through the next 24 hours. So do not be surprised if you get that amount of precipitation. If you go to excessive rainfall, we do actually have an excessive rainfall risk that's there that goes all the way from Greenville to Spartanburg, that goes all the way down towards the Midlands, through Columbia, through Sumter, through Florence, through the Tri-County region, through the Petey region as well. That's only a minor flood risk, again, only a minor flood risk, but it is still a flood risk, and even an isolated flash flood risk at that. Continuing into tomorrow, this goes from Tuesday 9 a.m. all the way to Wednesday at 9 a.m. Still, that isolated flash flooding threat is there. That goes again for the entire state of South Carolina is included. Again, that is the entire state that is included in that isolated flash flood risk. Now, continuing even into Wednesday, going into Thursday morning, that goes up all the way up here for Greenville, going into Clemson, going into Walhalla and Pickens as well. That is for, again, some minor flash flooding, if not just some minor flooding, but it's there for Wednesday going into Thursday. Thursday going into Friday, we are still not done. That goes, again, through most of the upstate, going on over here towards Bennettsville, going in towards Dillon and Mullins and Chesterfield as well. But the main day that I am watching for right now is Friday going into Saturday. This is Friday morning going into Saturday morning. We have a slight risk of excessive rainfall. That is scattered flash flooding that goes all the way the entire upstate, the entire Midland region, the entire Grand Strand, the entire PD, and most of the Low Country. The only people that are not included in that slight risk is down here near Hampton and Ridgeland and Beaufort and Allendale and Hilton Head Island. That could expand. Because the flash flood risk actually did increase today. Now, this goes only out 5 days, so obviously, if this is day 5, there obviously was no outlook for this. But the people at the National Weather Service said that the PWA2, PWAT values have went up higher, and so that did increase the flash flood threat as we get into, again, day 5 that goes all the way from Friday again going into Saturday. So that could increase. We could see a slight risk take over the entire state, but we could also see a decrease as well. Will it decrease? I think there's a higher chance of it increasing than it decreasing, but that's obviously just what I think. Severe weather-wise, nothing in terms of severe weather for tonight. We do not have anything in terms of severe weather for tonight. If we go into tomorrow, no severe weather is expected. If we go into Wednesday, no severe weather is expected. But one thing that outside of severe weather that all of these days have in common is that not only is the entire state of South Carolina included inside of a thunderstorm risk. So the entire state is included inside of a thunderstorm risk for tonight, going into tomorrow, going into Wednesday as well. So continue watching for those thunderstorms as we continue through pretty much this first half of the week going into midweek. Now, what are the models saying? So we're going to start off here 9 o'clock p.m. You can see all this rainfall, this thunderstorm activity that's going on. Low pressure right up there to our north and east into North Carolina. And by the time you get to around 12 o'clock in the morning, there still will be some shower and thunderstorm activity that will be going on over there inside of the upstate again, going all the way down into the low country, for example. Now, continuing all the way to around 1 to 2, maybe even 4 a.m., there still is shower and thunderstorm activity, or and at least downpour activity going on. And that low pressure kind of just circles around the state, but it still brings moisture. Like you see up there in kind of, I believe that's just to the south of Rock Hill, near Winnsboro. At 7 a.m. This is when my morning forecast update comes out. You have that rainfall kind of going on near the coastal region. You kind of have that shower activity going on up there. And then by the time you get to around 10 to 11 a.m., it kind of cuts off. It cuts off. You're not really seeing a whole bunch. But once you get in between 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., yes, those earlier morning showers that we saw were kind of dissipating, but more start to pop up. And by the time we get to around 1 p.m., it starts to kind of grow. Now, this is 2 p.m. right here. It shows pretty much close to, if not just the same thing we've been talking about, it just intensifying more, getting more widespread, and that will continue all the way through. I mean, this is 4 p.m. right here. You're seeing at least widespread rainfall in at least the eastern portion, if not the southern portion of South Carolina. Now, the upstate looks a lot drier tomorrow, but y'all definitely will get y'all's rainfall. This is 5 to 6, 7 p.m. as well. Have some rainfall, some thunderstorm activity up there. Again, this is the entire state. And by the time you get to around that 8 p.m. area, this is where we were looking for, this is where our precipitation accumulation did end at. If you want to check out this model, for example, it says that a lot of precipitation, I mean, this is around a good 2 to 3, maybe even 4 inches over here. Ending off at 8 p.m. Now, this also goes into earlier today as well, so maybe you could subtract a little bit, but I mean, even if you go all the way to now 9 p.m., it's not a whole bunch. So this is 9 p.m. And what it caught all the way from 3 p.m. and then this goes all the way into 8 p.m. tomorrow. So not a whole lot of a difference, but it's still there. Continuing this forward even more all the way to 12 a.m. on July 30th, there still will be shower and thunderstorm activity in the upstate. And then continuing to push this forward even more, it seems to be actually pretty dry by the time we get into that July 30th morning going into that afternoon. Now, continuing into the long term, this goes all the way for the next 300 to 400 hours or so. As you go on and push this forward, look at all of this rainfall, this thunderstorm activity that continues all the way into August the 1st, August the 2nd. Going into August the 3rd, this is the main thing that we're looking for, and this will produce our cold front. This will drop us and give us a nice cool down into this weekend. A nice cool down into this weekend. If you go on and look at the temperature anomalies, you can see this cold air really taking place. This is August the 2nd, 2 p.m. Nice cool down going on. Nice cool down going on. Now, if you go into the actual temperatures itself at 2 p.m., it could potentially be like in the high 60s. Now, granted, that might actually be due to the rain and the rain showers as well, but a drop of around, I mean, because right now it's 84 degrees. I mean, that's already a huge drop if the temperature at 9:12 p.m. goes down around a good 15 degrees. And that's at 2 o'clock p.m. And that's at 2 o'clock p.m. So, one thing that I will say is that, it's not going to be a long, cool down. It's not going to last forever or anything like that. We will get back to those high temperatures again in the 90s and maybe close to that 100-degree mark. But it will for sure be a nice cool down to enjoy, especially as we go through this weekend. And just speaking of, if we go back, you can see again as you continue to push this forward, it lasts a hot minute going to around August the 4th. But, I mean, right as you get into August the 6th, those temperatures start to get right back up into those 90-degree marks. But continuing all the way into our rainfall, you see the low pressure that actually is over here kind of just tracks out and just kind of goes away. So it's not going to do too much except for just bring us that flash flood risk. Past August the 6th to the 7th, I mean, we're still seeing rainfall activity. Just because it will be warmer than ever, back to that warmer than average temperature, that does not mean that the rainfall is going to stop at all. It will still be here. You're just not really seeing a whole bunch in terms of storm, at least like low pressure, cold front sweeping in activity. Now, obviously, storms will still occur, but will it be major with some flash flooding? That's also something that we're just going to have to wait to see. But no low pressures is seeming to be spotted as we continue through. So that's it for our long term. Let's go on and look at the tropics. No tropical cyclone activity is expected for the next 7 days. I mean, if you were there for the past 2 days, I've been talking about the models were showing something inside the main development region, kind of making its way up towards the U.S., but again, still pretty inconsistent, and they have not updated it yet, so I'm not going to show it for tonight. If it shows anything else tomorrow, I'll go on and check it out, but for right now, it's just looking like that. Still no tropical cyclone activity, so nothing to be worried about. For the crazy score, we're at a 65. We're at a 65 inside the strong category, strong storms, heavy rainfall, wind. But, in my opinion, obviously, yes, there are still some storms going on. There is still some heavy rainfall going on. Still, just storms going on in general. But, the main reason why I believe it's up is still just because of those temperatures. I mean, we're going to have those low temperatures tonight at near 80 degrees. And that's going to cause some issues. That will cause some issues. There's going to be no relief at all for this heat as we continue into tonight, into tomorrow. And this heat will stay with us pretty much all the way into Thursday until we get that cool down Friday, Saturday from that cold front, even into Sunday as well. So one thing that I will say is that we still have to deal with this heat now, but cold air is on the way. Before we go on and talk with our live audience, for the people that are tuned in live, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go on and do so. We are at 548 subscribers. 548 subscribers, again, trying to get to that 600 mark. We have, for right now, in the live chat, 20 people watching, and we only have 5 likes, which means 15 people tuned in, or are tuned in, and have not hit the like button at all. So please, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button, that you go on and do so. Looking now at the chat. Starting off with Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone from Monk's Corner. Very hot today. Cut the grass and did early, but still got overheated right now. There is lightning, but no rain. And that was pretty much expected. I saw the comment earlier. As those showers and thunderstorms are in like northern Dorchester County right now, so that's probably what you are seeing right now. My Nana says, hello Jay, in spite of the heat I had a nice day. I did nothing all day except to water my plants. That's great. Stayed indoors. You didn't have to go outside except for, to water the plants, but that was early, so that was great. My Aunt Shirley says, good evening to all. We are having thunderstorm activity here in Raleigh. Blessings to all. Thank you so much for that, and thank you so much for tuning in as well. Trail says, greetings everyone, greetings to you. And then Mr. Chris says, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe button to the channel. He's absolutely correct. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go on and do so. But that's it for the live audience. So let's go on now and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. That being San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Duncan, Oklahoma. Starting off with San Antonio first. With low temperatures tonight 74, high temperatures tomorrow at 99, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 73. No precipitation is expected at all tonight or tomorrow. So you are good in terms of precipitation. Now, in terms of that excessive rainfall and severe weather just in general, no severe weather is expected. But in terms of excessive rainfall, you do not have any threat for that. Going into Raleigh, they actually did put your location inside of the none category because, let me check. Actually, never mind. I checked that back. I think either that was an error by me or they just added that there. But the precipitation tonight, that actually is supposed to be a chance of showers there for tonight. But low temperatures tonight 76, high temperatures tomorrow at 96, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 76. Chance of showers tonight, and no precipitation is expected tomorrow or tomorrow night at all. Now, in terms of severe weather, there is For now, no severe weather is expected, but in terms of excessive rainfall, some minor flooding possible tonight, and then some scattered flash flooding possible not only on Thursday, but on Friday as well. So scattered flash flooding possible on Thursday and Friday, and then tonight, minor flooding is possible. Philadelphia with low temperatures tonight 75, high temperatures tomorrow at 98, and low temperatures tomorrow night 77. No precipitation is expected at all tonight. We do have the chance for some minor flooding on Wednesday, and then also a scattered risk of flash flooding on Thursday. Friday, though, it takes that step back, though. So, again, Wednesday, minor flooding. Thursday, scattered flash flooding. In terms of severe weather, there is a chance for some severe weather on Wednesday. It's a low risk for now, but it's possible, and so that's why they have it highlighted. And then the final location, that being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight 75, high temperature tomorrow at 100, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 75. There is no precipitation that is expected at all, no severe weather is expected at all, and no excessive rainfall is expected until Friday. Friday, there is a minor risk of some flooding on Friday, so definitely watch for that. And so that's it for the 4 locations. So what's going on throughout the entire U.S. just weather news-wise? Severe thunderstorms, heavy rainfall, and flooding are possible from the northern Rockies into the upper Midwest. A derecho is likely across portions of the northern plains, with several gusts expected to exceed 75 miles per hour to possibly maxing at 90 miles per hour in South Dakota going into Nebraska and Minnesota. Extreme heat is expected to intensify across much of the southeast and the Tennessee Valley, continuing through much of this week. Excessive heat warnings for southern Georgia going into, or that excessive heat watch going into southern Georgia, going into Florida, and even some extreme heat going on also inside of that Georgia, going into Illinois, Kentucky, going into West Virginia and Ohio, Mississippi, Louisiana, Nebraska. Fire weather going on inside of Oregon. And then we also have some flooding going on in New Mexico and Montana. So a lot going on. But we are going to get through it, though. And that's pretty much going to wrap up this evening's forecast update. Let me check out the chat one more time. Thad says, good evening, Joseph. Sorry for the delay. My wife had me out there walking. That is okay. You still made it here. That is fantastic that you made it and getting some exercise as well. It seemed like a win-win. Let's also go and talk about the top fans. Mr. Chris is number 1. My Aunt Shirley is number 2. And Trail is at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fan leaderboard or even be number 1 on it, you have to go on and be here early, probably before anybody else, probably, if you want to be number 1. And then you also have to go on and chat. That means being active inside the chat. Again, there's no special privileges given to these people just because they were here first or just because they're the top fans. Everyone gets the same treatment. It's nothing competitive, just supposed to be all for fun. There's nothing too serious about it. But that's it for tonight. And then other than that, I believe that is it. So I will be back tomorrow morning with your Tuesday morning forecast update. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go on and do so. We're at 548, 2 away from 550, and 52 away from 600. Make sure that you go on and hit those 2 buttons.